review show with Become a Fearless Father. Today, I am blessed to have with me Steve Larsen. Thank you so much, brother.
Thanks for having me.
And then we'll go after that a little bit about who's Steve, man. First of all, because one of the things that impressed me so much is the way you just been building your, I would almost say empire, but especially your business, right?
Yeah.
And that, besides, if I saw everything correctly, you're married, you got 2 beautiful daughters.
3.
Correct?
Yeah.
3?
Yeah.
Oh, that's even more than I thought. So share with me, man, is there such a thing as balance?
No.
All right. Elaborate.
Absolutely not. I don't believe in balance. I think it's a facade because you can't measure it. How do I measure when I'm in balance? I used to chase balance. Funny enough, I feel more, it's kind of like when, and I'm sure you feel the same way. It's like whenever you get somebody, it's like a marriage is 50-50 on each side. It's not, right? It's 100 each side, and then it works. I can't have split focus. So the only thing that has been different for me in this past little bit is I just say no to more.
Okay.
And then obviously I have an incredible wife, and I just don't believe in that. I don't think anyone gets anywhere without pure obsession. And so I obsess, but I'm also I'm obsessed with inside certain constraints. I only work 9 to 5 or 9 to 6, unless there's some major event coming up or we got to travel. But besides that, like 6 o'clock comes, I pull the cord. Like, so like people are like, I'm going to go to lunch. I don't have time to go to lunch. You know what I mean? Like I am obsessing 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. and I'm going to run as fast as I can. And I don't care if it hurts a little, I'm all right with that. And then as soon as it's done, as long as I'm fully engaged in wherever I am and whatever I'm doing, I believe you can do it. So as soon as the kids show up, am I perfect at this? Absolutely not. Right. But like as soon as I'm done and I walk out and I'm hanging out with my little girls, they want dad, right? They want to play. And I'm a playful person. So I run around with them, and we play hide and seek till death do us part. I mean, it's forever, they love that stuff, and it's fun. As long as I can go full in. I think mistake came at the beginning when I hadn't learned these things and I wasn't good at it, is I wouldn't fully engage because my head was still spinning on these next pieces and learning how to appropriately compartmentalize, right, my different identities. That's how it happened. So I don't really believe in balance, though.
I hear you. Well, it all depends, of course, also what does balance mean to you, right? If it just means that you're good and you're there as a father, as a husband, for yourself, and as a business owner, you could say that, that is a balanced lifestyle. Again, sure. It all depends on what you want to call balance. So I really appreciate you sharing that. Yeah. Man, everybody was talking about the boom, man. Jake Anderson just said it. And then Art also said it. Looking forward to the boom. And then you're bringing a t-shirt. I love that. I brought this one. I mean, that's how I saw you. And that's how I learned the boom, man. I love that. We're going to talk about that a little bit. Not the boom, but the energy that you always seem to bring. And I love that. But first, for all those dadpreneurs, entrepreneurial dads out there that do not know who is Steve, man, share a little bit of your background story with us. And we already know 3 kids, married, very supportive and beautiful wife. So that's awesome. What else is there to know about you?
Before you have any level of success in whatever you're going for, it can be challenging for people to believe in you, and that's okay because you're trying to learn to believe in yourself. It's hard to expect others to do it and believe in you when it's hard to believe in yourself. And so, there's all these. Anyway, when my wife and I got married, we had nothing. And I asked my dad for money and he said no, which was great. He taught me how to work hard growing up. I worked tons of jobs. I'm the oldest of 6 kids. And so for me, asking money that's not a norm, right? That we were really hurting already. And he told me no. And I put me on this path and I went through 34 different business tries over 5 years. And it sucked. And it was hard. And I grew a lot and learned more of who I believe I am. And it was an interesting experience to go through it. And I still am. I don't want to say it's over because I believe entrepreneurship is one of the best personal development courses that you've never enrolled in, right? And it's hard. And so anyway, I mean, I went and I started working for Russell Brunson It was never part of my plan to go do that. I got 5 job offers at his funnel hacking live event, and I found myself sitting next to Russell, right? And we sat back to back in his first office, and built hundreds of funnels with him, literally, and got the itch to leave. And I left, and I thought, like, well, what's like one of the craziest ways I could leave my job and document it? So I decided to leave with no revenue, no product, no funnel. And it was like, I don't recommend that, first of all. Like, I was already a really good funnel builder by that time, which is why I felt confident doing it. But I left, and I called my shot, and I tried to say, yeah, we'll do $1 million in the first year. It took 13 months, the next was 7 months. And then we had our first $1 million day and last month. And it's crazy to see everything that's come from it. And what things like I thought mattered versus didn't, anyway, just interesting. It's been, that's very 30,000 foot view nutshell version.
I love it, man. I love it. You picked on 2 things that actually you shared 3 things already in 6 minutes that I want to go into a little bit deeper. One is this, because I've done the same, and now I'm not regretting it, but I'm kind of like, I wish I'd done it differently. I just pulled the cord as well. I just stopped from working. I was like, this is not it. I don't see enough for my kids. I can't spend enough time with them. I want to be working from home. And they're next door, by the way, so they might come in.
I get it. That's why we have sound panels in this room here, man. It's because they scream. And the boom started because they would yell in the background. This is the real reason I started yelling. And I was trying to cover up their scream. That's why the boom started. But most people think it was like, I was like, no, you got to build a funnel. You gotta anyway.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I love that. So there's a lot of dads out there working a full-time job, but really looking at you and looking at other entrepreneurial dads like, yes, that's what I want. Knowing what you know now, how would you have done it?
Well, I used to think that the success was based on the product. And so I spent tons of years going through and trying to ask myself, what should I build? What product should I put together? And it is the wrong question. Very wrong question. It is so much easier. It's interesting because when you think about the parts that it takes to pull this off, obviously you have to have a customer. Then there's the message, the offer, and the funnel, and kind of in that order. And I used to think that everything was dependent on the offer itself. And so I would go in, and I didn't even know what an offer was. So I was just making products, not offers. And I was going in, I was making a product, and then I'd be like, who should I sell to? Right? Who should I sell to? And it was the wrong order, right? It was the wrong order. And so what people are inclined to do is to go back and say, well, like, it's the funnel's fault. And they start tweaking the funnel, and then they go back, oh, it's the offer's fault. It's the message's fault. It's interesting because I had a chance to speak and sell at an event just a few days ago, and it didn't go well. It did not go well. And I had to run through the very exercise that I'm walking through right now. I was going in and I was saying, hey, like, here's the thing, it didn't go well. And then at the end, I started realizing that largely everyone in the room already had what I was selling. And so the mistake is that a lot of times people will think like, hey, something's wrong with my funnel, my offer, my message. I know my offer was great. That is not the issue. So I can't, like, we'll start to, our minds will spin. Like, something's wrong with my product. It's all about the product. It wasn't. Something's wrong with the funnel. I think my delivery was pretty good. Something wrong with the sales message. Well, there's one spot I can feel already that the sales message wasn't right. It was the who, right? It was who I was speaking to, the room itself. I raised my hand and I said, who here already has, and I was talking about the product, and most of the hands raised, and I was like, like, dang it, and it wasn't anyway. And so that's the thing, though, is like a lot of times we believe that something's wrong with our funnel or our offer or the message itself, when honestly the easier thing is just to change who we're sending it to. And that changes the game faster than anything else. And so at the beginning, it was very much like, what should I sell? What should I sell? What should I sell? What should I sell? And it's the wrong question. The question is, who do I want to sell? Where are they trying to go? What are they currently buying to try and get there? And then you ask, how can I speed them up? How can I get them where they're trying to go? And then it's a customer driven product rather than, because I'm not the one buying it. So I shouldn't ask myself, what should I sell?
Exactly.
That's like major, right? That changed the whole game as soon as I started doing it that way. And so if someone's looking at me like, how are you pulling this off? When I was in college, I was full-time college, married, kids, and I was in the Army. I was squeaking out 2 to 3 hours a day, right? And I give up a lot of stuff in order to get that time. And that's really all you need, though, right? You don't, if you're like, hey, I'm working somewhere else or working for somebody else, or that's okay. Under the constraints that I had, I grew. You know, it's a blessing to have these finite things, but only if you choose it to be a blessing. Right? You're the one that decides your attitude on it, and if it will be. So that's what I would say, though. I know I rifled off a lot there, but I really think that it's, first of all, there's no such thing as failure. It's all made up. We wouldn't have done my 35th amazing try that blew up without the 34th, you know, like it's all progression. There's no such thing as failure. And then if you're like, oh, I don't have any money, I didn't either. Right. And that's why everything happened. I learned things at a level others won't, which qualified me to sit next to Russell. Like I wouldn't have worked for Russell if I had money to get to his first event. That's like a big statement, you know, you're like, I don't have money. Good. I don't have time. Perfect. Right. Then you get creative and start flexing all these muscles and focus on who you want to serve. They tell you what they want to buy and then just go give it to them. And the game gets a lot easier like that.
Exactly. I like that. Now, one of the things you mentioned, like, you know, you messed up completely. It didn't go as you had planned, or it didn't become a success that you expected. And that is where I've noticed a lot of entrepreneurial dads or entrepreneurs in general stop believing in themselves, right? And you just mentioned in the beginning, like the biggest thing is believing in yourself. What would be like the biggest tip that you can share with us to make sure that you keep believing in yourself?
Yeah, you know, it's funny, man. When I was in high school, I was super shy. Well, shy was probably not the right word. I don't think I was shy. I had no confidence at all. So much so that when I would speak to somebody else, even peers, my voice would raise and pull back into my throat. Like I had physical reactions around this. I'd see an adult and I'd walk the other way on purpose. I was afraid to speak. I would not be doing this. I mean, I was super overweight, dude, like really overweight. I was diagnosed, well, not diagnosed, but very highly suggested ADHD and all these things. And we do this, right? This is very natural. I feel like it's part of the development. We sit back and we start saying things like, I'm not good enough because I can't talk to people. I'm overweight. Look over here, right? Possible ADHD. And what's funny is like, we use these as these dialogues to try to convince ourselves that I'm just not good enough, because that is easier than becoming good enough. You know, it's easier for me to go in and say like, I don't qualify for my dream. I don't qualify for my vision. And this was a big deal, man. I had to overcome a lot of mental junk, and I still go to therapy, man. I still go to therapy right now. And that's good, right? That's great. But people will look at the things going on in their lives and say, I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. Look at me. I can't. And so because of that, they don't try. They don't even attempt to do something. So if you realize failure is not real, and then you realize that all these things that have been placed in your path are actually to qualify you for your dream, right? That is the training ground. The environment is your boot camp, right? That you've been brought into, whatever that might be. You start to realize how free and amazing this world is, and you can go do so much stuff, but you can't look at the clock, and you cannot compare yourself to someone else, and you can't compare yourself to how fast someone else did it. That will kill you immediately. So I had to learn how to speak because I couldn't speak. That's why I know how to. Because I was really overweight. That's why I know how to exercise. Right? And I lost a bunch. Because I had, ADHD or whatever. I had to switch my mentality and go, that's a gift. That's not a hindrance. And I believe it's where some of my energy comes from, right? Right. Which is really unique to me. And that's okay. Right. Boom. It's like, whatever. And you start to sit back and realize that all these things that have happened for you are happening for your benefit, but you decide that. No one else can. And you have to really look in the mirror and sit back and say, like, I can do this. I can do this. And here's a little trick that I always do. Whenever I'm about to go build a funnel or do sprints, I did this actually last week. I was going through my little mental routine before I go on stage. I usually do push-ups on my knuckles, right? And I'll think through like, I'll get kind of like jacked up, and I'm listening to music, and I'm like, here we go, baby, bring the bacon. I'm bringing the whole pig, and I'm like, anyway. and it did not go that way, right? But I'm going through my mental thing, and I always take a moment before I'm about to do something, and I try to envision the pain that getting that thing is going to require of me. And I try to look at it, and then I agree to it. This super big moment for me. I sit back and I agree to the discomfort or the pain, the growth that thing will require before I start. And then when it starts, I'm expecting it, and I go, let's let it suck a little. That's all right. Right? It's okay to feel a little pressure.
Exactly. I like that. I like that. Look, we're short on time, but I quickly want to share this one with you from Jake. Do you believe in buying your kids' first car? Apparently, it's been an argument there, and I want to lay that with you. Your kids, how old is the oldest one?
5.
The oldest one? 5?
Yeah.
5. Oh, you got a long way to go, so I'm not even sure if this is an issue yet. But what's your thought on this, man?
That's a great question. My dad bought my first car, but it was under a lot of requirements. He wanted me to be an Eagle Scout, so I had to go be an Eagle Scout. He wanted me to, I worked a lot of jobs. He taught me how to work. My dad gave me that amazing gift, and he taught me how to work, and I did a lot of labor jobs. In fact, I've heard other parents say, I never want my kids to work a labor job. I want my kids to work labor jobs, right? I've noticed that when my body is under physical pressure, my mind arrives. That's why I do a little mini workout before I go on stages. It's because the physical pressure on my body makes me, the real me, show up. So I have 3 little girls, right? And they're 5, 4, and 1. They already have chore lists, right? And I quiz them, and I totally indoctrinate them, man. I'm proud to say that. When my 1-year-old was learning how to walk, we don't want her to fall down the stairs, obviously, so we put a baby gate up. I put the other kids over the baby gate, and so every time I lift them over the gate, I always quiz them. I say, like, is it better to create a product or an offer? And they'll be like, an offer. Then I lift them over. Like, what besides, actual career, what's one of the most prestigious things you can be? Salesman. And I'm like, there you go, right?
Brilliant.
And I'm totally indoctrinated, and I'm unashamed to say that. So many beliefs around money, right? I need to not teach them what they're about to go learn in school. I got to show it so they can identify it and be like, that's not correct, but thank you for your opinion. And anyway. As far as like buying their first car, I'll tell you a real debate that we just had. Should we get a house cleaner? That's the real debate that we just had. And my wife would love the help, and I help out in the evenings, but we looked at each other one day and we said, okay, I am going to go make the bacon so that you don't have to. I will clean. I will do all the things that I can while I can. But besides that, are you okay with me just focusing on the bacon? And because of that, anyway, so we had the big conversation. Well, we don't want our kids to be lazy. We don't want our kids to, anytime my wife asks a question to my kids, I expect them to say, yes, mom, no, mom, right? If she has to repeat the question 2 times, they're in trouble. I'm very disciplined with them on the way that they operate. I expect them to work. I expect them that I will not give them handouts. I'm willing, we're going to buy them clothes and food and stuff like that, but like, they're going to have jobs, right? Or something. I believe most kids are jacked up today because they weren't told no enough. Anyway.
Right on. Yep. Totally agree there. Real quick, man, before we end, I want to know, where is it? Right there. All right. Just how can people get in contact with you? I put the website, your website in there, so people can check that out. And especially the people that don't know you, they can check it out. right now, it's in the comment section. And for those people that are watching the replay on YouTube or on my podcast, this link will be in the description. What are other good ways to be in contact with you, to follow you, ask you questions, know where your next event will be?
Yeah, it's very nice of you. Actually, stevejlarsen.com is kind of the hub for everything.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
They did a great job. So there you go, everybody. That's where you got to check him out. Steve, thank you so much for being on. Really appreciate this. Was for me like my big vision for this year to get shows. I really appreciate that. Everybody else, thank you so much for your questions, for your booms. Really appreciate it. Exactly. And we will see each other very soon. Take care, everybody, and have an amazing day.
It's awesome. Thanks, guys. Thank you very much.